In this episode of SG Now, CityJo Carson brings farm fresh fish from Singapore seas to your table.
CityJo Belinda discovers her heritage and slippers made with tens of thousands of beads.
CityJo Abby gets retro chic and gorgeous with yesterday's fashion.
And we find out if Singaporeans are ready to nurture a smoke-free generation.
In 2019, Singapore produced 4,700 tons of fish from 122 fish farms.
That's a lot of fish.
Yes, but that's only about 10% of the fish and seafood that we eat.
Okay, we eat too much meat.
Oh, protein for the muscles.
Well, it is a growing industry. Let's find out more. Over to you, Carson.
Let's go fishing.
Did you know that there are fish farms in Singapore? Yes, there are, and they are huge. We're going to meet SP, a farmer that takes care of such a farm. No fruits, no vegetables, no four-legged animals, just fish.
My name is SP. This is a short name. My actual name is CityJo.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm from Myanmar.
SP, when did you become a fish farmer?
Okay, I be here 2015 October. Yeah, before I working here, I'm Myanmar. I working. My professional work is driving. My brother working is here very long time, and then he can bring me to this Singapore and do this job. Yeah, so my opportunity to do the fish farmer. Okay, we had everyday work. This is morning. I do this feeding the fish. After that, we put the net and clean the net. One, we need to see got hole or some damage on the neck or not. Another one is that we clean the neck. Yeah, and then we waiting for the customer order and we harvest the fish.
Look at that, my harvest. Okay, one more time. With my sting, I'm very strong.
Yeah, evening we pack in the fish and then send to the jetty and delivery to the customer. Customer order coming in the afternoon 1:40 p.m.
Yeah.
And then I delivery timing is by evening at 4 p.m. So maybe the gap is 2 hours. We supply to this NTUC fair price.
Right.
So every day I deliver to the fair price, and then you can buy the fish next day. Sea bass, red snapper, and then the golden bullfrog.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see if I make it as a fish farmer.
I think many challenges to facing me because you know the fish. I need to try to the survive to the life.
So do you eat fish every day?
No, my favorite food is nasi lemak. Working here, I'm happy. Yeah, every day I take in all the fish and then I will supply to the supermarket and fresh fish. So I'm happy to do that. The only one thing I don't like because my family is away from me. My wife and then I got 2 child. Yeah, they living in Myanmar. So I'm missing them. Only this problem for me. Every night I will call them.
Video call?
Yeah, video call by this FaceTime.
Or FaceTime?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
It's amazing how much personal sacrifice SP has to make to be a fish farmer in Singapore. I can tell from his expression that he misses his family dearly. The next time I buy a fish from NTUC, I will remember SP's sacrifice and contribution to put fish in our supermarkets.
My dream is I will be here and then try to do this Singaporean. Yeah, and then I will bring my family, and then they will stay here. Yeah, for the better life.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. My hope is I will be this success in this farm, and I will make grow the fish farm also.
Right.
Yeah.
So after a hard day's work, we are after harvesting, packing. Now we're headed for delivery. Yes, these fish that we caught are going to NTUC, and I have a hand in it. This is CityJo Carson, Singapore 1.
It's amazing to think that even with 122 fish farms, we still have to import 90% of our seafood from overseas.
And that's why in 2019, Singapore launched a 30 by 30 initiative with the aim to have 30% of all food consumed in Singapore produced in Singapore by 2030.
So Gladys, do you think it's possible?
Well, we have to hope so.
Indeed. Well, it's certainly heartening to see people like SP come all the way from his home country, leaving his family behind to help us. So we need more of our own people willing to get their feet wet.
Definitely, that will make a huge difference. By the way, Kai, do you know anything about Peranakan beaded slippers?
Actually, I do. Well, I know that they're traditionally called kasuk manik, which means beaded shoes, literally in Malay, and I know that Peranankan ladies wear them to complete their sarung kebaya outfit.
Wow, not bad. All right, here's CityJo Belinda to tell you more about her visit to Nonya Angeline Kong of Straits Enclave.
You know, this pair of beaded shoes or kasuk manik, they demand lots and lots of money. A few $100s to maybe more than $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, especially if they are of vintage value. You know, as a little girl, I used to enjoy playing around with my mummy's shoes until I got scolded by her and said, "Do you know, my dear child, these are very, very expensive." Now that I'm older, I want to find out more about my heritage as a Peranakan, that how these shoes come about and how do people beat these lovely shoes. Well, I'm going to ask a good friend of mine who has been in the business for more than 20 years. Meet Angeline Kong. Hey, hi Angeline!
Hi! Welcome to Straits Enclave.
How are you?
Good, good.
You know what I'm going to do today?
Learn beading.
Absolutely!
Yes, I'm excited too.
Look at this. Yes, it's the kasuk manik. And I remember as a little girl, I used to play around with all the shoes that my mom had.
I do have the same
Yes?
experience that I get a scolding from my mom as well.
Okay.
I used to play with this particular shoe.
Yep.
And naturally I got scolding because I used to curious about how does the bead actually attach to a shoe. So I would just like peel it like that, you're staring onto it and then just using my fingernail and peel it. And she said, it's so expensive, it's so difficult to find someone to actually sew it. Then I realized much later it was actually due to the color, the beads. It's really no longer in production. But in today's context, definitely you can't find beads of vintage like this.
When you say vintage, how old are they?
They are probably about 100 years old.
Oh my
or more than
goodness,
that. Yeah.
yes. So what you have here in this bottle are really old.
Yes, they are. I treasure all these recycled beads as well. Okay,
I
so
see.
these recycled beads are vintage beads, the manik potong.
Okay.
And with that, I actually wash it, dry it, sort it out with colors. And then today,
Wow, it really,
I
really
bring a
needs a lot
revival
of
to
work.
this.
Yes.
yeah. So it's like, you know, giving it a second chance.
This is lovely.
Yeah. So usually flowers represent feminine part of the nonias.
Like that.
Because this is a vintage bead, so it took
Okay.
longer.
Like-
so it's almost like 4 to 5 months. Right.
But did you have a hard time struggling at first, I mean, learning the art?
No,
Not
not at
really.
all. At a very young age, I already got to know how to do needleworks.
Okay,
Um,
that helped.
that helps. And in fact, I'm able to do a skirt at the age of 14.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So actually, when it comes to needlework, it was not a difficult task for me, thanks to my mom.
Hey, I'm really waiting to learn how do you
Yes.
do the beading, Angeline?
Yes.
Yeah.
Really,
Really, to learn my heritage as to how, these shoes, come
well, it's
about.
never too late.
Yeah, embroidering them.
Little beads, you can.
Okay.
The color plays a very important part. Of it.
Wow, they are so tiny.
Yep.
Yeah, look at them. They're so tiny.
And that's the reason why the mother-in-law would select a daughter-in-law based on needlework. Because it reflects the character of an individual.
Okay.
It shows that the girl is actually very meticulous.
Okay. Yep. That's how you mean my mother-in-law would look for.
Why? For the
if
son.
she wants
Yes,
me.
yes.
Okay. All right.
But not today, right?
Of course, today's a different thing, right?
Yeah. I think we heard quite a fair bit that the culture is declining and we are losing it. But I think it starts from every family, especially in Peranakan family, if you have that connection to pass it on to the next generation, I think it starts from at home. That's what I have received from my mom and my grandmother, and I'm doing the same for my niece and nephew. And in my family, we do address our senior in a Peranakan way. And I think that's a little bit that we can actually try to maintain our culture. We cannot go back to 100% as what it used to be, but at least a little bit of it has been retained and passed it down to the next generation.
Yeah, but what I want to know also is young people today, how can we encourage them, to pick up a hobby like this, learning to do beading and to also appreciate, kasuk manik.
My view is that thanks to COVID, I think actually it sparks quite a fair bit of interest to the younger generation, and many friends and new friends actually came to learn about this workshop. And the idea of it is they wanted to know more about beading as well as knowing more about the culture.
Okay. Well, this is really very exciting, and also I really learned a lot about how to do beading.
Yes.
So it may be a bit tough, but I guess if you need patience, creativity, and maybe
Yes.
perseverance.
That's right. Discipline.
You can do discipline too.
Yes.
You can do it. And I must thank you, I must thank
A pleasure.
Angela Kong. Angeline is really good, she has been in this business of doing beading for more than 20 years. And I'm just only a rookie. But at least I know this is part of my heritage, and I think I should keep it and perhaps teach the younger people, once I know how to do beading, that these shoes will last forever. And mind you, Angeline also runs classes here at the Enclave. And if you want to be part of it, don't worry. Age is not a problem. No matter how old or how young you are, there's always time for you to learn this unique art. A heritage not to be forgotten.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Angeline, once again.
Welcome.
Thank you. And I'm Belinda from Singapore One.
Those slippers look gorgeous.
Gorgeous, yes, but it looks like painstaking work. Didn't Angeline say that it can take 4 to 5 months for designs with vintage beads? I'm told some shoes have more than 50,000 beads.
And she's been doing it since she was a little girl. Imagine how long it would take a beginner.
Well, I don't think I have the patience for that.
You never know till you try.
Oh, true. So if you're interested in learning more about traditional beading, we have posted the link for the Straits and Clay Facebook page in the description below.
That's right, and while we're on the subject of fashion, CityJo Abby introduces us to one of her favorite shops that believes in sustainability.
Hello, hello! Welcome to Swapaholic, the one place in Singapore where even if you have all the money in the world, you can't buy the clothes. You have to bring your old clothes and swap for them.
That's right. I'm sure you too have got clothes in your wardrobe that you hardly wear, but the quality is good and you can't bear to throw them away. So they continue to lay in your wardrobe year after year after year.
Swapaholic is a fashion swap service that empowers consumers to declutter and refresh their wardrobe without compromising their planet and wallet.
Located at Orchard Central, this is where you can swap in your old clothes for other people's pre-loved items with a nominal processing fee of $4.50 per successful swap-in.
So basically, our founder Peranankan, so she used to shop like excessively, because it's very accessible, it's cheap. But then she realized that fashion was the second most polluting industry. Yeah, so because of that, she became a bit more conscious and was looking for different ways to combat it. And then she came across like the concept of swapping.
Yup, you heard it right. Fashion is the second most polluting industry given how fast fashion seasons and trends change all the time. In fact, studies have shown that 60% of clothing produced ends up in the landfill every year. So instead of buying and throwing, we can swap to get rid of unwanted items and yet still satisfy our desire for new clothes without feeling guilty. I first meet up with Swapaholic's retail manager, Callie, to see if my clothes will pass their quality checks.
This is my stack of clothes, and usually what do you look out for?
Okay, usually we'll look out for like color stains, like no missing button, no missing zipper, broken zipper, no iron stains, no makeup stains, no yellowish, no smell. It's very important. And also no piling. So we are actually quite thorough in our quality checkers. We want to ensure a very good positive experience for every swapper.
Nope.
So I brought in 10 pieces of clothing, of which 3 were accepted, 7 were rejected. And out of the 7, Kelly explained some of it can be fixed. Maybe I go home and try and salvage it and try and bring them back again the next time. So although 3 out of 10 sounds like a very harsh number, but in the bigger picture, it's actually a good thing because it means they are really stringent with their checks, and that means that all the clothes that you see on the racks here, they are of really good quality. So I guess now it's time for me to go shopping!
Clothes that pass the quality checks will be awarded points based on factors such as brand, style, and fabric. You can then use the points to redeem for other items in the store. My 3 accepted pieces got me a total of 11 points.
Oh my god, look at this beauty! This is totally my style! This is so nice. Okay, how many points is this? It's 6 points! I have 11 points. I can buy this. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm in love. Hi everyone, how's this? Beautiful, right? But now that I've tried it on, it's actually a bit too small for me. But that's a good thing because compared to when you buy clothes online, then after you receive them, then you realize, yeah, it's too small. But you can't refund already. But here at Swapaholic, you can try it right here in the shop and decide whether it's a good fit for you. In this case, I will lose a bit of weight first and then come back for this dress.
Running a swap store is not without its challenges. While swapping is popular in places like in the UK, it is still a relatively new concept here in Singapore. People sometimes get upset when their items are rejected, while others have doubts about the quality of pre-loved items.
Because, second-hand clothing has a lot of stigma around, like, it being dirty, maybe it's like dead people's clothes, things like that. Like, I think a lot of the older generation, I've heard this kind of perspective on it. I think it's just getting rid of the stigma, trying to show that, our clothes that we accept, we only accept things that are washed, and, the quality checks, everything very stringent. So if you actually look around, you realize that, they are literally as good as new.
Swapaholic therefore hopes to educate the public about swapping and its benefits. And who knows, maybe like Tiara and Aisha, you turn from shopaholic to swapaholic.
Yeah, I think we can easily say we have more than 10 swapped items.
Yeah,
right?
a lot. And she still has balance
yeah,
points.
this is swap. Yours is swap too? Is yours
This one is swap. This is Tommy Hilfiger pants.
Yeah, this is Marks and Spencer.
Hi guys, how do you like my new outfit? I had 11 points from the 3 pieces that were accepted and swapped in, and in the end this top was only 4 points and this skirt is only 3 points. Now although there is a processing fee of $350 to $450 per accepted swapped in, this is still a lot cheaper compared to if you're buying new clothing. So yeah, I think this is a really good bargain. I'm gonna be visiting Swapaholic very often from now on. Happy. This is CityJo Abby from Singapore 1.
I really had no idea that the fashion industry is the second most polluting industry in the world.
The message is no longer shop till you drop, but swap till you flop.
And so do you think that swapping is something that will catch on here in Singapore?
What do you mean? It's already taken root. It's important that we all start living sustainably and take a serious look at how we can clean up our act.
Which takes us to our next story. New Zealand aims to raise the legal smoking age by 1 every year, which would eventually make it illegal to sell tobacco to anyone born after 2008. The new law will also reduce the number of shops that can sell tobacco and only allow smoked tobacco products containing very low levels of nicotine.
What this means is that people aged 14, when the law comes into effect, will never be able to legally purchase tobacco. New Zealand officials estimate smoking kills as many as 5,000 people a year, accounting for 15% of all deaths.
The question is, would a law like this be welcomed here in Singapore? Our CityJos have been out and about on the streets of Singapore, talking to smokers and non-smokers alike.
Imagine a newspaper headline from the future. Last legal smoker dies tragically young. If the smoke-free generation movement has its way, that headline could be a reality one day. The idea behind the movement is to ban children from ever being able to legally buy or use tobacco products. And the first country planning to introduce this plan will be New Zealand in 2025. Here in Singapore, they talk about targeting children born in 2010. That means 11-year-olds. And the idea is that at 11, you haven't had your first cigarette yet. So me and my CityJo colleagues are all out on the street to find out what everybody thinks about this idea. I see you're a smoker.
Yeah, I am.
What age were you when you started smoking?
18, I think.
18?
Yeah.
Okay. Why did you begin to smoke?
Influence, maybe.
Yeah, all your friends doing
After that,
it?
it became a habit.
Yeah, okay.
15.
15, okay.
Yeah.
And how did you start smoking?
I try.
I hate smoking. Already since young, I don't smoke, so I never think of any smoking.
In New Zealand, you know where New Zealand is? Have you been? Yeah, it's very green, it's lovely, isn't it? In New Zealand, they want to stop all young children from ever being able to have a cigarette. They're going to make it so that you can never go and buy them, okay? Do you think that's fair? Do you think that's a good idea?
Yes.
Yes. Why?
Because it will make them less sick.
Yeah, yeah.
So from a health perspective, yes, it should be banned and younger generation should not start smoking.
They should not only children, everybody.
Everybody.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Do you think it's good that we stop young people smoking?
Yeah.
Okay. But you don't have plans to stop?
Maybe when I'm 20 or 21.
Well,
Yeah, when I grow older.
Oh, when you grow older. But it'll be harder then. You'll be so used to it? Maybe when you get a really hot girlfriend and she doesn't like you smoking, you'll stop?
I will stop.
Ah, okay.
And also, I have families who have like developed illnesses because of smoking. I think for me, I'll definitely be in support of it. Yeah.
I think this is part of life. Smoking, using authoritarian to ban all this, I don't think it will work.
So their other tactic is to reduce the amount of nicotine in your cigarettes.
Yeah, that's one way.
One way.
Yeah.
Okay.
That,
You'd be on board with that?
That's from the health issues. Yeah, it will be
Okay,
good.
Daddy doesn't smoke anymore. Are you very proud of him?
Yes.
Yes, I think you should be because it's very hard. And when you grow up, do you think you'll want to smoke cigarettes?
No.
No. And if tomorrow the government said Singapore is going to be absolutely smoke-free, no cigarettes for sale, would you be okay with that?
I have to. Eventually, it's a law-abiding citizen. You have to follow the law.
Can. Okay.
Ken, how would you manage?
Then I can drink the coffee or this.
Yeah, drink coffee instead. Okay, you have a contingency plan. Okay, very good.
I agree, but this is very difficult because there is also a very strong smoker. So they will not agree with me, right? So, okay.
Yeah, it will be good for us, like non-smokers, but some people might not want to even live here anymore. Because it's so restrictive.
Well, if we manage to get a ban on this for this generation, it will naturally become a tobacco-free nation.
That makes a lot of sense.
At this point, I should confess, I'm rabidly anti-smoking. And if I could, I would lock all smokers up in a room and let them smoke themselves to death. Having said that, today I have met some very charming, very helpful smokers. A lot of them agreed that they just needed a good enough incentive, like a hot girlfriend, and I think they all hoped that their kids wouldn't take up smoking. This has been Morag McGee, CityJo, out and about with the smokers.
Well, it seems most people seem to like the idea of a smoke-free Singapore, even though some feel this might be unfair to smokers.
Well, if it works in New Zealand, I am sure many countries will follow, right?
I guess.
You think?
I think so.
All right, time for us to go.
To New Zealand?
No, to get out of here. Actually, to go to New Zealand is a great idea. If only we can.
If only.
Yeah. No, so that's all we have for you today.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Join us next time on SG Now.
I'm gonna get some New Zealand oysters. How about that?
I'm booking myself a plane ticket.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.